All right, so this is fight 278. This took place in Hua Hin at the Hua Hin Muay Thai gym slash stadium. This is the organization, the gym, the promotion, the stadium of Kai Sawit. He's in the Muay Thai Library. And Kevin and I were able to use Patreon to help sponsor this fight event. So the thing that happened is that after COVID, it was very, very hard for a lot of promotions to get the ball rolling. There were a lot of permissions they had to get. There's also a lot of expenses. They really were underpaying fighters, but just giving them as much as they could. And a lot of this made fights into 3-round fights, just because you can pay people less and you can get more people on the card. And Kai Sawit was really, really trying to get experience for local fighters. He is able to pull people down from Bangkok. He gets fighters from Sitmonchai, which in Kanchanburi is like 3 hours away. It's kind of amazing. And so for our part on Preserve the Legacy, we sponsored 4 of the fights on this card. And what we were able to do is improve the fight pay. We paid significantly more than Kai Sawit's able to pay for these 4 fights, which is 8 fighters. And we put a win bonus on this fight. My opponent is Neena. She came up from the south. We put a fight bonus on this or a win bonus on this so that whoever wins this fight walks away with 30,000 baht, which is a very significant fight bonus for this kind of small stadium. And we do that as kind of like an incentive to be able to get quality fights and to be able to pay female fighters better than they generally get paid outside of entertainment Muay Thai. And it's a cool event. It's very cool. People all around the stadium who actually follow me and know who I am were coming up to me outside before my fight and being like, "We're so excited you're doing this. We're very, very excited for Preserve the Legacy to be helping with these promotions. We're so happy to be on it." I was really stoked to be able to improve the pay for some of the fighters, and something we want to continue to do. I'd seen Neena on film. I saw her actually at, I think it was Super Champ, so this is a 3-round fight. And I wasn't sure necessarily how she would fight me or how she would fight a 5-round fight versus a 3-round fight, but I saw that she was strong. I saw that she had the capacity for aggression. And when you put a 30,000 win bonus on something, you know that you're going to get a very good performance out of someone who's very motivated and incentivized to give their best in that fight, which is great. She has this amazing lead kick. Like she's orthodox, but she uses her lead side to attack the open side, which is a very tricky thing for me to deal with. I have like kind of a mental thing about being kicked on my open side repeatedly. So it was something that going into the fight, I was like, this is something that is a weakness of mine that I'm gonna have to deal with and have to try to address, even though I have a mental kind of thing about it. And we weighed in the morning, and this was very, very official. Like, you have to get permission from both the local authority and the Bangkok authority in order to promote fights. So I went to weigh in the morning, and there was an SAT official from Bangkok, that's the Sport Authority of Thailand, who came down, and he was checking everything. Like, he was looking at the logos that were on the backdrop of where people were taking photos from. And weigh-in was at like 9 a.m. or something, and I got there at like 8:55 or something. And Neena had already weighed in, according to Kai Sawit, and she was eating. And I was like, you didn't let me see her weigh in. And we had agreed to a weight difference. On paper, he had said it would be 48 for me and 50 for her. I don't weigh 48 kilos, but this is fine. Like, write whatever you want. And so she was eating, and I'm like, you need to have her weigh in and just not be over 50. Like, I don't care what she weighs, just not over 50. And she came and she stood on the scale, and she was 48, having already eaten a little bit of something. So I was like, oh, okay, I have no problem as long as she agreed to the parameters and she's meeting the parameters. So you have to be a little bit, this is one of the reasons why people send someone from the gym with you when you weigh in, is because you really want to have these kind of like some authority figure who people will respect and make sure that everything is going, by the book kind of thing. I don't think that Kai Sawit was trying to be sneaky with me. He just honestly was overwhelmed and not paying attention. But the funny thing is, I weighed in way under what I thought I was going to weigh in. I don't know what happened. Maybe driving down the day before, I got a little dehydrated or something. But it was less than I was supposed to be. And Kai Sawit was like, we're not allowed to have more than 2 kilos difference So you need to either make that weight or you need to say that you made that weight, which I was like, write whatever you want. But she had been eating again after we'd weighed in together, and I had been drinking water. And the SAT guy was like, you need to weigh in again, like, I want to see it. So again, I had been like, I want to see it. And then the SAT guy was like, I want to see it. So there were layers of us like not doing this by the kind of like book that you would do it at, you know, Lumpini or Rajadamnern or something like that. So we weighed in again, and she was, I think, a little bit over 50 by that point, but we, you know, said that we were within the parameters that we needed to be in. And I think by the time we actually got in the ring, our weight difference was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 kilos. Not insane for me. We say it's 2 kilos. When you weigh in and you have this rule about 2 kilos, you know that by the time you fight, you might be different weights than that. That's for the weigh-in. There's a belt down here on the skirt of the ring, you can see, down by one of these judges. And I think that we're fighting for the 50 kilo Eastern title. So there are regional titles. There's Isan, the North, Central, South, and then there's East and West, and Hua Hin is in the East. So this is an Eastern title. I've got Karahat in my corner. He is such an amazing corner. I love his energy. He'll tell me to teep in every single fight. So got that ready. So there was another female fight on our part of the card on the 4 fights that we helped sponsor, or that we sponsored. And the 2 female fights of this entire show were absolutely the Duuglas-Ittu. They were the best fights on the whole show. The women that fought after us were awesome. A Swedish woman and a Thai woman from the south who came up with Neena. So you can see our size difference here. There's just a mass difference between us, but Neena's not very tall. It's very hard to fight tall fighters, so I was happy she wasn't very tall. I'm trying to get distance, and she's got that nice lead kick that she just tags. It's not heavy. It's not to hurt you, but it scores. So it's a very difficult thing to kind of work against because you're getting scored against even just these little taps. So you kind of like ignore it because it's not hard, but it's scoring, so you can't ignore it. And she's got a nice teep to keep me at distance, so she wants to keep me at this kicking range. She's doing a perfect thing of what it is that she does with these teeps and jabs and lead kicks, and I'm just trying to kind of get inside of that a little bit. You can see I'm missing, she's not. There's finally a teep. She didn't move at all, and then she teeped me back and I stumbled. So this is one of the things about being the smaller fighter, is that you want to look unaffected. Like, both fighters want to look unaffected, but when you're smaller and people can visually see you're the small one, they kind of calculate in their heads that that was more of an effect than maybe even you feel like it was, because they believe in this weight. And it's true. I need to be more unmoving because of my size. Hopping in a bit, finally getting to clinch range, and she timed me perfectly on my first clinch knee. She put me down on the ground there, and that got in my head for the whole rest of the fight. So this was very good timing and planning on Neena's fight game. She's got a nice little like cross block there, little Dracula guard. So now we're back in the clinch and I'm trying to time her. She's harder to move than I am. She had a good base, but she's also, 10, 15 pounds heavier than me, so it's hard to move someone who's bigger than you. So if you're fighting someone bigger than you, you have to be more patient, because they will move, but you have to wait until they're more tired, and you have to work a little harder to get that. I'm punching a little bit in sets, which is good. I'm getting different angles here. That comes from my clinching with Yod Kumpan. Sorry, my sparring with Yod Kumpan. There's a nice trip on my part. I kind of put her face into the ropes. So that's, again, that's showing this effect. I don't know how that was scored by the judges in the first round. Usually first and second rounds are kind of 10-10. But not as good as being put on the ground, what she put me on the ground, but off balancing and being thrown into the ropes is pretty good. 3 scoring kicks right there, and then I come back with this punch that kind of does nothing. This is one of the things when you're fighting, you're not thinking when you're fighting about like a punch is not as good as a kick, which is why in training you have to build in your kind of automatic responses to things of, I'm not going to respond to 3 kicks with a single punch. You have to kind of calculate those scoring differences and train them in your day-to-day training in order to make that automatic, because you can't make those calculations in a fight. So I had Karahat and I think his name is I. It's not I in English, it's I in Thai, so it would be Ta, who's one of the trainers for Kaisawit, helping me in the corner. I really like this set of referees, officials, and judges that come down for Kaisawit. A couple of them work on like Thai Fight. I think one of them works on Channel 7. This is a thing about referees and judges, is that they're groups, like they're a team basically, like how you have like a soccer team or a baseball team. A team of referees and judges always work together, and you hire the entire team. So Channel 8 has not their own referees and judges because that's a promotion, but a venue will have it. So sometimes you'll see this stuff in the news where like there's a disagreement between the promoter and the judges that they were using, and the judges will be like, I'm not going to work with you anymore, or the promotion will be like, we're not going to hire you anymore, and they literally hire a whole new team of referees or judges for their promotion. But sometimes those referees and judges are the venue rather than the promoter. So you can't get different referees and judges at Lumpini or Rajadamnern, for example. Those are already set. So certain promotions will like bring theirs in, and then certain promotions have it at the stadium. When you go to that stadium, you get that team of referees and judges. And I like this set of referees and judges that come down for Kaisawit's shows. So again, it's almost like the exact same pattern. She's kicking a lot more now. These are all scoring. I'm teeping her a little bit, which is like good to off balance her, but I'm putting her at her distance, not my distance. So I'm getting back into this clinch range, which is good for me. I think round 2 was good for me. We're clinching each other back and forth, kneeing each other back and forth. My head's a little bit locked here, so I have to work to get out of that position. And we're just exchanging knees back and forth here, so that's not great for either of us. It's a little bit 50-50. There I got her with this elbow. It landed, and I actually cut her lip open. I like split her lip open, and I didn't see it happen, but then all of a sudden I started seeing blood on the ground, and I'm like, who is bleeding? Because I knew I wasn't, but I finally saw it at the end of this round in the corner. I saw that I'd split her lip open, which is a very, very painful place to be cut. So I'm able to grab her a little bit better now. Maybe she's even a little bit mentally hurt. I'm pushing her arm over so I can get a better grip here, because we were kind of 50-50 on our locks. And so I push her arm over to kind of like change our angle. And now I'm able to do most of the work at that side angle. She's tiring out just a little bit, but she's still got that kick. Like she's trained that since she was probably like 7 years old, just this bop, bop, bop lead kick. I was struggling with our lockup. She actually has a really good kind of spoiling lock in the way that she holds, so I couldn't really make the distance that I wanted for a lot of the moves that I wanted to do in the clinch, but I was able to throw elbows from there rather than knees, which is really not how I've experienced a lot of fights. There's another elbow that landed on her here, and I'm able to kind of get behind her, and I'm trying to like off balance her and move her, but again, she's very heavy for me. Here scoring, but she scores back, so then you have to look at kind of effect. Rounds 1 and 2 are not generally scored a great deal. You can use them later in the fight, but generally they're kind of scored as like a 10-10 unless something absolutely significant happens, like a count or something like this. For women in Thailand, for 5-round fights, women in Thailand, according to the SAT, have to have 2-minute rounds, and there's a 2-minute break. So you're resting for as long as you were fighting, which is incredibly long. I never have 2-minute rest when I'm training. And so in fights, it actually feels really, really long. But Neena's corner was cheating. They were taking an incredibly long time to come out of their corner. And the officials didn't do anything about it. Like the officials did not chastise. They didn't like force them to come out earlier. And Karahat started getting really upset. So you'll see Karahat in the corner. He starts like clapping and yelling, and he's like, hey, like get out of your corner. So they didn't cut into any of our rounds. Like all of our rounds are still 2 minutes. They didn't let that rest bleed into the actual fight time, but she's taking incredibly long rests, and it is true that I also get those incredibly long rests, but that's not to my advantage. I don't need those or want this. There's all kinds of little things that people will do to kind of like sneak advantages in fights. I call it cheating. It's not actually really cheating. It's against the rules, but it's like these little things. Like you'll see people go and bow to their corner to like eat a little bit of time, or like they'll ask the ref to like wipe them down to eat a little bit of time. It's just grabbing these little tiny moments to get more breathing time. I'm already in the middle of the ring and she's not even got her bench out yet. So here the ref is going over and he's like, you guys got to get out of here. But this is like a full minute of extra rest time. It's a little bit hard to get those chairs out. This is why you use stools. Here we go. All right, so I had a pretty good round 2, so I really need to come in and like make good on that in round 3. I'm affecting her a little bit more with my teeps. Like this is stopping her from kicking. It's not really knocking her back. I'm throwing more elbows, which she absolutely doesn't like because she's already cut. She's got a pretty good lock in the clinch, actually. She's not moving me with it, but it does lock me down in that I can't use my arms to kind of get more advantageous positions. Blocked one, not the second one. Hopping in, that still scores. She like kicked up in here. I kind of am not, even though I'm taking strikes, which as a Dern fighter, I'm going to be taking strikes. When you do that, you then have to get that point back with something significant once you get in. And I'm kind of just not catching up to the ball when I'm doing that. Here I got a better position. I land a knee that's not really answered. There I got a little like elbow to the body attempt and then a knee on the other side. I'm trying to hit her body in the clinch, which I used to get yelled at up at Lana because I did it badly. But now it's a little bit of a way to kind of like tire your opponent out a little bit when you can't. I couldn't throw the knees because of the way she was like locking me up top. You can hear both sides calling for each other's points or calling for their own points. So here I locked her down better. I got the end of that moment. Look at that, just like tagging with that left kick. It's nothing, like it feels like nothing, and so you think you can ignore it, but it's not ignored on the scorecards. those all score. You need to really pay attention to these, honestly, kind of flicky kicks, but they do count. There, I'm off balancing a bit, land a nice knee on that side. These are like my little moments at this range where these are my versions of those left kicks where like they're scoring, like they're adding up and they're not really returned. You can see the blood dripping down from her mouth a little bit here. It's an elbow that got stuck by her shoulder. The ref is doing a great job of not breaking the clinch in this. That round felt very fast, maybe because the break before it was so long. She's tired, so Neena's working very hard. As a kicker, fighters who are kickers use an incredible amount of energy. Diesel Noi always says Muay Thai gets the most tired, Muay Thai uses the most energy, and this is true because you have to lock people, pull people, use strength, you have to throw a lot of knees, and you have to tire out your opponent while staying afloat all the time. It is exhausting. You are always tired as a Muay Thai. As a Muay Thai, when I have pad men who make me kick all the time, kicking is unbelievably tiring. So I totally sympathize with Neena being very, very tired right now in her work here as a kicker. It's very, very hard to be a kicker. So I was watching her in the corner. I was kind of like doing a little like peeking over, and I could see she was breathing really heavy. I also saw that she was bleeding quite a bit, which I hadn't really seen as much. I saw blood on the floor, but I hadn't like tracked where that was coming from. You can see there's like a spot of blood underneath, right by the foot of her corner man in the black over here. But look at the difference between us. I'm up, they're pulling the tray out, they're stretching me, they're like, this is gonna start in a second, and they're like not even acting as though this break will ever end on Neena's side. And they did this the entire fight. They just kept doing it. And why would you not if nobody's actually stopping you from doing it as a strategy? Kevin telling me to drag her off the ropes. when we're clinching and to get an inside position. He is completely right here. I'm getting kind of locked up top, and then I'm not able to turn her because of the weight difference, and I'm not really, she also has very good balance, and I'm not really able to score as dominantly as I want to. If I got inside position on that clinch, this would change all of that. It's much easier to move someone from an inside position, and it's much, much easier to score from an inside position. So I need to be doing that. So 4. So now this is a really important scoring round. Whoever got 3 gets to kind of like claim 4. There's usually not a huge reversal between 3 and 4, but there can be. You really, really want to win round 4, even if you won round 3. I'm outside again, so I nodded to Kevin about that inside position. Didn't do it, but I'm fighting. You can see we're kind of like working a lot in the center. She's taking my idea of trying to hit the body because she can't throw her knees. I think she can't throw her knees in this moment because she's tired rather than because of the position. I get at least one arm in. Like I have my forearm on her shoulder, which is how I'm able to kind of like stabilize this position, but I can't really turn her and be dominant, and I really need to be dominant, especially as the smaller fighter. But as the Muay Thai fighter, this space is my space, this is my range. I really need to be dominant in that range. And here I'm just kind of, you know, taking those lead kicks that are her game. Oh, this is very exhausting. This is very tiring. I know that if I'm tired, she's tired, but it's very hard. And now the ref is starting to break us even in the middle of the ring, which he wasn't doing before, and he doesn't actually need to do, other than that it looks as though we're not working anymore, but by breaking, you're not giving people the opportunity to work. See, I'm kneeing here, so he's not breaking it. We're a little bit back and forth. Because we're back and forth, I am landing these knees, but because it's a back and forth, I need something big. It's something that Joe at Hong Tong said, make some mention. You need to do something kind of big to like, boom, cement, like put your little flag in that round. There's a lot of blood coming out of Neena's mouth now. I'm just after her. I'm like a bulldog now. A little bit of an uppercut in the clinch. That's like Long Sawan. I usually scream Long Sawan in training when I do that. I need to start yelling in fights, like cite my references in fights. Karhat's actually getting upset. He's complaining to the other corner man. He's like, why is the ref breaking that? That was a nice left hook on my part. Karhat, again, he's going like this. He's like, why are they breaking that? Karhat was really irritated after this fight. He was yelling at Kai Sawit, but he was like, why are they breaking it? Why are they breaking the clinch? Why are you not getting her out of her corner faster? Like, he was really, really irate. And I like him going to bat for me. I like him being upset about these things. I think I won round 4 pretty significantly. I think, like, for sure I was going into round 5 with round 4 having been mine. But Karhat was, like, very serious. He's like, you need to be on this going into round 5. So you can see the difference in how I've been like kind of watching her in the other rounds versus right now with Karhat. It is like A-B conversation. He's telling me what he wants me to do, and he's like, you need to block, you need to get in there, like all of these different things. And it was kind of this like, you need to get in there in round 5. This is the thing, fighting in Thailand for 11 years now, it took me a really, really long time to one, understand how a round 5 works. Like, nobody taught me how scoring works. Like, I had to figure this out by watching a lot of Muay Thai, by understanding why this fighter won instead of that fighter, by listening to what my corner's telling me to do in round 5, by my corner screaming at me to go, 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 or to stop going. Like, it took a long time for me to just understand what a round 5 meant. And then even longer after that to be able to do the things that you're supposed to do in round 5 when you're losing or when you're winning. And so I know what to do now in a round 5. So listening to Karhat, listening to his intensity and his urgency, and knowing what that means for how to go into round 5, I understand this. He's like, one more round. Like, Karhat's like, you're winning one more round, but you have to get in there. And I was like, okay, I see the fight the same way. I need to go in at least for half of the round. I need to dominate it, and then I can kind of like lay off the gas because I won round 4, start winning round 5, and then you can kind of pull back off of that. I had a plan. Carhot had the same plan. We were in agreement in what that meant. But then, like, I nodded at Kevin, like, yes, get my hand on the inside, and then I just don't. You then have to go do that thing that you understand. Another 10-minute intermission because of Neena's corner. Good plan on her part. Like, in the round 5, I just need to do a little bit and then back off. She's like, I'm just gonna spam you with these left kicks, which is a very, very good idea because I'm not blocking them. Now we're just kneeing and clinching, and Carhot is getting even more mad. Every time the ref breaks us, he's screaming. Carhot in the corner is like, he's like clapping and yelling. I watch him on TV with other fighters, and like the whole group of cornermen will be like happy that their fighter is winning, and Carhot is still stressed until the very end of the fight. He's very invested in his fighters, which is very sweet. Getting in here, scoring, not answered. That one missed. Nice block here. I need to rip her off the ropes, which is what Kevin said. That's a good break from the ref because we're against the ropes and nothing's happening. Middle of the ring, you don't need to be breaking that. Got another little bit of an elbow against her there. She's doing these 1-2 kicks, which is very, oh, there's an elbow from me that landed. Probably right on her mouth again. It's exhausting. We're both very tired at this point, and so when we're locked up like this, it's just who can muster the most energy to kind of make some mention in that moment. It's very like in the pocket now. She's just trying to get a little bit of distance so that she can land at her range. I'm landing more elbows here. Crashing in, tried to get past her arm a little bit there, but got stuck. The ref breaks us, and Carhot's actually going like this. When the corner is going like this, that means we just won that exchange. Carhot's like this. It's like when people play video games and they like steer the joystick with their whole body. That's what Carhot's doing. But he's happy. He's like, that's enough now. He told me to dance off because he's like, that was enough. You've won this round after winning round 4. So I'm a little bit fancy now. I'm like backing up and kind of jabbing, being a little bit like, I took this. And there, she looks very tired. She is very tired, but she worked very hard. When you're tired and you continue to kick like that, it's fucking hard to do. Like, absolute credit where it's due for that. Her corner's happy. My corner's happy. Carhot's like, that's good. I felt like I won. I was like, okay, I got 4 and 5. I felt very confident that like that was taken care of. After a fight, like, best friends with the opponent. I've actually had very, very few opponents who I don't like, where it's like, I'll hug you after the fight, but I don't really want to. It's not because of winning or losing, it's because you just don't really vibe with that person. But I've fought, 150 people or something, and I vibe with almost all of them. I really, really like most of my opponents. I love that Neena had this like a vampire who like can't get all the blood. She had this amazing, like, I've just eaten somebody blood coming out of her mouth. Stitches there really, really hurt. I went over and apologized for that afterwards. She was not stoked to get him either. It's painful. So she just got 49, I got 48. So he's re-announcing that. So she won 49-48. Again, 48-49 for her. So she just needs one more judge to not be all in my favor. Look at Carhot, he's like pacing. He's really upset. Look at Carhot's response. I looked at Carhot because honestly I had scored it the same way Carhot did. So I looked at him and I'm like, what is this? I didn't think that I blew it out. I was not like, I won that and this is a complete robbery. I was like, I totally thought I had done enough for that. Her corner is incredibly happy. She got this 30,000 baht bonus, which they get to come in and give her. And I was upset about this fight. Like, after this fight, I was really upset because 1, I thought that I had won, but 2, I had fought, I thought, really hard. Now that I've watched it again, I totally see how the scoring went. I totally understand what the judges were looking at. But I'm also really happy that the whole point of the Preserve the Legacy initiative, like the reason to give this incentive of the money is not to give away the money. She won, like she actually won this fight. It's not like, oh, it's a charitable thing. She won this fight. But that's the whole fucking point of having this win bonus, is to get that kind of performance and to have the team so happy to go home with this huge bonus. Like them coming all the way up from the south of Thailand to make that kind of money on a win bonus, that doesn't happen for female fighters. And it's an amazing thing, and it's exactly what we're trying to do for Preserve the Legacy. So I'm actually really happy now that that happened, although I was not happy at the time getting out of the ring, because I'd seen it the way that Karahat had seen it. We came around to the outside to go to the mat to like take gloves off and stuff, and Karahat was more upset than I was, but he was ranting. Karahat is really, really funny when he's upset, not in a cartoony way, because he doesn't get upset about things. Like, he'll rant about things, like in the car, if we ask him a question about something that we know he doesn't like or that he feels really strongly about. It's like, sin! And he like starts going off on his rants, and it's hilarious. It's not funny when he's really upset after a fight like this. One of the reasons he's so amazing to be in my corner is he does not ever put pressure or guilt or shame me for fucking anything. Like, I've fought really, really bad fights with him in my corner before, where I just like wet the bed really, really not good. And he never yells at me. He's like, you should have done this. You didn't do that. Next time you need to do this. Like, he's just a sweet, caring, invested in his fighter's corner. He's wonderful. He was raging, hopping mad after this fight. Not at me, at the judges and referees, but something that I thought was really amazing. I started to feel less and less good as the night went on. I watched the fight after me of these other women, and I got so into it. They were amazing. So I got out of my head watching that, because that fight was so good. And both fighters fought incredibly well. But then also, when I was feeling less good about myself at the end of the night, I went up and I was saying goodbye to everyone. I was saying goodbye to the judges and referees, and I was saying goodbye to the officials. And one of the officials, and I don't know whether it was the one that judged me or the one that was the referee, or whether it was one that was outside of the ring. When I went up and wide to say goodbye to him, he grabbed both my wrists. He like held both my wrists and looked at me, and he was like, good. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, they all scored unanimously against me, but they liked my performance. Like, they were like, you didn't win, but you fought really fucking good, which is what that kind of moment was. And that was pretty amazing for me. So very happy. Hello. We are outside of fight 278. We're in Hua Hin, and we just wrapped up. This is a very special card for me because Kevin and I helped promote it with Preserve the Legacy. So we're trying to get 5-round Muay Thai back into like the grassroots system here in Hua Hin. So like where kids fight and grow their bones, where like local fighters come with a little bit more kadua with our promotion, with our sponsorship. We can give a little bit more money, we can give bonuses, this kind of thing, in order to pull people up from farther, which is really exciting. So my opponent Neena came up from Phuket, and she brought another woman from Patalong. And these fights were so exciting. These fights were really, really good. I lost, which is not my favorite thing. I think I could have fought better in a lot of ways, so I'm feeling sorry for myself, but that'll only go for a little while. But I'm excited for this event. I'm excited for how it went, and it's very cool that Neena gets to go home with 40,000 baht. So yeah, double plus good, and talk to you guys on the next one.